Hello, universe. Welcome to my world. I'm going to start today by telling an unusual story. I have a friend of mine, and she's Danish, and she lives in London, and she has 3 children. And when the children were small, she spoke Danish to them at home. Her husband was English and spoke in English, and she sent them to a French school. It's very interesting, she said. When they were 4 years old, all 3 languages were mixed up when they spoke. But suddenly, at the age of 5, something clicked, and they separated each language properly when they spoke. I think this is a wonderful story, and it's a wonderful advertisement for teaching children more than one language, because it wires the brain in a very expansive way. Angelina Jordan speaks more than one language. She grew up in Norway, so that's her first language, but her English is very fluent. And there's evidence that she speaks other languages as well. She's been to the Middle East several times, and her grandmother, who's originally from Iran, speaks Farsi, as does her mother. And her mother grew up in Japan, and Angelina's grandfather was Japanese, so there's a Japanese influence as well. Let's hear Angelina in her own words, making a very smooth transition from Norwegian to English when she's being interviewed. She has a few words in Norwegian before the interviewer switches to English.
Synge og skrive.
And I know that you like to speak English too.
Yeah.
So if we can do it in English?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. When I sing, I go to another world. In the world, it's like endless. It's amazing.
And not only is there evidence that she might speak more than 2 languages, but here she's actually singing in Japanese when she performed in concert in Japan. And although there's no evidence that she actually speaks Spanish, here she is singing in Spanish the Gypsy King song. And she does it with tremendous feeling and tremendous soul.
Amo mía, por favor, tú no te vas. Yo contaré Ven, ven, no volveré, no volveré, no volveré. No quereré recordar, no quereré recordar.
If I may tell a personal story, my wife was born in Switzerland and French is her first language, but she writes poetry in English. So at breakfast, we toast bread and we fillet words. And it's amazing the way a child learns the first language and all the nuances and connotations of words that you don't even realize until you have to explain it to a person where English is not their first language. And so the subtlety of translating the feeling and the nuance from one language into the other is what today's video is all about. So today, let's look at 5 songs that Angelina has covered which were originally not in English. Charles Aznavour is a national treasure in France, and when he sung La Bohème, he actually was mimicking a painter at his easel, applying paint to canvas, which makes the song come alive in a certain way. He speaks of Montmartre, which is a suburb in the north of Paris, where the artists gather. And when Angelina sings the same song, the lyrics capture the same feeling, although the lyrics are not a literal translation of the original. But both of these are superb versions of the song.
On parle d'un temps que les moins de 20 ans ne peuvent pas connaître. Montmartre en ce temps-là accrochait des lilas jusque sous nos fenêtres, et si l'humble garni qui nous servait de nid ne payait pas de mine. C'est là qu'on s'est connus, moi qui criais famine et toi qui posais nu. La bohème, la bohème. ça voulait dire on est heureux.
Let me tell of a time when the wood wasn't rhyme with the sound of a laughter. Montmartre rang with flowers for far forgotten hours of hunger, of love, on where I now youth of the sovereign truth of these that came after. We left it common man, but he was there and heaven smile above. Love, oh heaven, love, oh heaven, poor hungry you, poor hungry me. Love, oh heaven, love, oh heaven, see the old world that could not see.
The next national treasure from France we will hear is Edith Piaf. She was born in France in 1915, which was not a good place and year to be born. Her father was in the circus, and Edith Piaf grew up singing on street corners to make money and living in a brothel. She was known as the Little Sparrow because she was less than 5 feet tall. Here she is doing her classic La Vie en Rose, complete with vibrato in her voice. And when 10-year-old Angelina does the same song, she pours her heart into it. And it's a wonderful performance from a 10-year-old.
Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose.
Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic love you cast. This is the love beyond rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs. And though I close my eyes, I see the love beyond rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, with boxes through.
And there's another national treasure from France, although I believe he's originally from Belgium, and his name is Jacques Brel. Here he is doing his Ne me quitte pas, and many French people will say that this version cannot be improved. Jacques Brel's is absolutely the gold standard. He sings it so deliberately and with such feeling. And when Angelina sings the same song, she is also able to capture a very special longing in her feeling.
Ne me quitte pas, il faut oublier, tout peut s'oublier, qui s'enfuit déjà. Oublier le temps des malentendus et le temps perdu, à savoir comment oublier ces heures qui tuaient parfois à coup de pourquoi le cœur du bonheur. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas.
If you go away on this summer day, then you might as well take the sun away. All the birds that flew in the summer sky when our love was new and our hearts were high, when the day was young and the night was long, and the moon stood still till the night bird song. If you go away, if you go away, if you go away.
Angelina also covered Sway. Very few people know that this is originally from a 1953 Mexican movie, and the song originally in Spanish is about a man who is unlucky in love. But when Dean Martin did his version a year later, the lyrics were changed, and it was about a dance partner's ability. It's unlikely that Angelina would be familiar with the original Spanish version, and so her version probably would be based on Dean Martin. And when Angelina sings it, I love the way she touches her chest, almost as if to say, these are heartfelt moments when I'm singing. And she captures the rhythm of the bolero mambo beat to this dance number.
¿Quién será la que me quiere a mí? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? Yo no sé si la podré encontrar. Yo no sé. Yo no sé. Yo no sé. Yo no sé si volveré a querer. Yo no sé. Yo no sé.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway, like the lazy ocean hugs the shore. Hold me close, sway me more.
Like a flower bending in the breeze, bend with me, sway with ease. When we dance, you have a way with me, stay with me, sway with me. Other dancers may be on the floor, here but my eyes will see only you. Only you have a magic technique. When we sway, I go weak.
In 1933, there was a Hungarian song, Gloomy Sunday, which is known as the Hungarian suicide song because it captures a very profound depressive feeling. 1933 was not a good time in the world financially or politically, and this song and video really captures that feeling. Billie Holiday first covered the song, and she did not give it that profound depressive feel. She made it sad but beautiful, and Angelina's version is much more based on Billie Holiday's. We're not going to hear Angelina's performance from NGT that almost all of you are very familiar with, which went viral and almost single-handedly launched her career. Instead, we will hear Gloomy Sunday that she did within a few months for the movie Lilyhammer, and it is a different version. If you listen carefully, she's singing in a more leisurely manner, and it is slightly slower.
Morú vasárnap 100 fehér virággal, vártalak, kedvesem, templomi imádom. Álmokat kergető vasárnap délelőtt, bánatom hintaja nélküled visszajön.
Sunday is gloomy, my hours are slumberless.
If you've ever seen a bad translation or spoken to someone where English is not their first language, it's amazing how many facets and complications there can be from one language to another, whether speaking or writing. But even with song, especially when the lyrics are not so accurately translated, but ultimately it is the feeling of the song which is most important. We will continue to focus on the feeling of the songs with Angelina in the future. Okay, gang, I'm out here. I'll catch you later. Bye.